Hi grade 5s, welcome to another recorded math lesson. Today's title is Solving Problems Using Logical Reasoning, and our learning intentions and success criteria are: I am learning to develop number sense so that I can demonstrate an understanding of fractions. I'll know I have it when I can use logical reasoning to solve fractions and decimal problems. All right, just make sure I have my purple pen. Okay, so today we're going to be working with some riddles on your worksheet, and so before we do that, I figured I would do a couple for you so you could kind of get the hang of what you're doing. So my riddle, Mrs. Henz's riddle, is as follows. There's 4 clues. Clue number 1 says my fraction is less than 1/2. Okay, so we know it's less than 1/2. I don't know much more than that yet. Okay, clue number 2, my denominator is 10. Okay, so that does tell me some stuff. First of all, it tells me what my denominator is. And because I know that my fraction is less than 1/2, I also know that my numerator has to be less than 5. Okay, so my numerator is going to be less than 5. And that's because 5 over 10 is equivalent to 1/2. And we know it's less than 1/2. Okay, we've done these 2 clues. Okay, clue number 3 says my numerator is an even number. So I know it has to be an even number that's less than 5. So that gives me 2 options. My numerator can be 2 or my numerator can be 4. But then clue number 4 says my numerator is not 4, which means my numerator must be 2. And therefore, my fraction is 2 over 10. Okay, let's go on to Ms. Roxborough's riddle. She has 2 clues. Her first clue says her fraction is equivalent to 6 over 12. Okay, so it's equivalent to that. It should take up the same number of space on your fraction strips as 6 over 12. Okay, and you are absolutely welcome to use your fraction strips when you're working through these problems. Okay, so the next clue, we've finished the first one. The next clue says my fraction is in lowest common form. Okay, so that means this fraction can't get any lower. So I know that I can divide both of these numbers by 6. So I'm going to do that. Actually, let's start off. Maybe you don't know that both of these fractions divide by 6, but you know that they both divide by 3. Okay, so let's start with that. I'm going to divide both of them by 3. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2, and 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. Okay? Then I look and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually go a little bit lower than that. I know that I can divide both of these numbers by 2. Oh, I did these by 3. And I divide both of these by 2, and I am left with 1 over 2. I now know that I can't divide this number any smaller because, as we learned in a previous lesson, any fraction with a numerator of 1 is already in its lowest common form. Okay, so therefore my answer to Ms. Roxborough's riddle is 1/2. Okay, let's move on to Miss Goldberg's riddle. Her first clue says my fraction is equivalent to 1 over 3, 1/3. Okay, so it's equivalent to that. And she says that her numerator is 5. Okay, so we need to find this fraction. Okay, and to do that, I have to do to the bottom what I've done to the top. And to the top, I've multiplied it by 5. 1 times 5 equals 5, and therefore I need to do 3 times 5, which equals 15. And so Miss Goldberg's riddle, her fraction, equals 5 over 15. Okay, all right, last one that we're going to do together. Miss Smith's riddle, if I could talk, that would be helpful. Her first clue says my fraction is equivalent to 3 over 5. Okay, so we're equivalent to 3 over 5. Clue number 2, the numerator and the denominator can both be divided by 3. Okay, so we're going to have to go through some options here. 3 over 5. Okay, we can divide the numerator by 3, but 5 doesn't divide by 3. Okay, let's try just moving up here. We'll multiply them by 2. So I now have 6 over 10. Okay, so I can divide 6 by 3. Can I divide 10 by 3? No, I can't. So I'm gonna move up again. Okay, so I'm gonna try the next one. Now I'm multiplying this by 3. Okay, 15. Okay, good. So 9 I can divide by 3 to get 3, and 15 I can divide by 3 to get 5. Okay, so this is really good. So then I go to clue number 3, and it says both the numerator and the denominator are even numbers. Now, if I look at 9 over 15, I can see neither of those numbers is an even number. So I'm not actually done yet. I need to keep going. So now I'm going to multiply these by 4 and see what that gets me. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, those are both even numbers. Can I divide them both by 3? I could divide 12 by 3. 20, not so much. Okay, so I got to keep going. Oops. Got to keep moving forward. Okay, so let's try multiplying them by 5. Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, and 5 times 5 is 25. Once again, I can divide the numerator by 3, but not the denominator. Okay, so we're going to try another time. Hopefully we're getting close. We'll do by 6. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18, and 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, now both of these numbers are even numbers, and both of these numbers can be divided by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6, and 30 divided by 3 is 10. Okay, therefore the answer to Miss Smith's riddle is 18 over 30. Okay, so some of these questions you're going to have to go through a little bit of trial and error to figure them out, but that's fine because that's using logical reasoning, which is exactly what we talked about doing. Okay, hopefully that all made sense. Call me on Zoom if you have any questions. Your worksheet is solving problems using logical reasoning. It's on Google Classroom and it is due tomorrow.